U.S. election 2016 result, Trump beats Clinton to take White House. Donald Trump will become the 45th U.S. president after a stunning victory over Democrat Hillary Clinton. The Republican nominee's victory came down to a handful of key swing states, despite months of polling that favored Mrs. Clinton. The battlegrounds of Florida, Ohio and North Carolina cleared the way for his Brexit-style upset. Global markets plummeted, with the U.S. dollar diving and gold prices surging. 5 ways the world could change. 5 reasons Donald Trump won. An astonishing new chapter in U.S. history. What will President Trump do first? The hotel developer who became president. Mr. Trump's shock victory in Wisconsin put him over the 270 out of 538 electoral college votes needed to win the White House, after a gruelling and rancorous campaign. The U.S. president-elect took to the stage with his family at his victory rally in a New York hotel ballroom and said, "I just received a call from Secretary Clinton. She congratulated us on our victory. Hillary has worked very long and very hard over a long period of time, and we owe her a major debt of gratitude for her service to our country." He added, "It is time for us to come together as one united people." The real estate tycoon, former reality TV star and political newcomer, who was universally ridiculed when he declared his candidacy in June last year, said his victory had been tough. Mr. Trump has so far won 28 U.S. states, smashing into Mrs. Clinton's vaunted electoral firewall in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, states that have not supported a Republican presidential candidate since 1988 and 1984 respectively. He also prevailed in Iowa, which has not elected a Republican since 2004. Mr. Trump held on to solidly Republican territory, including in Georgia, Arizona, and Utah, where the Clinton campaign had invested resources in the hope of flipping the states. A group of women react as voting results come in at Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton's election night event at the Jacob K. Javits Convention Center. Mr. Trump will take office in January with Congress fully under Republican control as Democrats were unable to wrest control of the Senate in Tuesday's general election. Mrs. Clinton, 69, has only notched up victories in 18 U.S. states and the District of Columbia. New Hampshire and Michigan, which had also been expected to fall in the Clinton column, remain too close to call as of Wednesday morning. The Democratic candidate, who dreamed of becoming the first female U.S. president, did not show up for what was meant to be her victory rally across town in Manhattan. The mood was dark at her election night party in the Javits Center, as supporters wept and left early. At Trump headquarters earlier, his fans cheered and chanted about the Democratic nominee, "Lock her up." Russian President Vladimir Putin congratulated Mr. Trump, saying he expressed hope for mutual work on bringing U.S.-Russia relations out of their critical condition. As the result became clear, crowds outside the White House broke out into spontaneous protests while Trump supporters cheered. Massachusetts and California voted to legalize recreational marijuana, which could lead to the creation of the largest market for marijuana products in the U.S. Nationwide exit polls underscored America's stark divide. Male voters were much more likely to back Mr. Trump, while women backed Mrs. Clinton by a double-digit margin. Nearly 9 in 10 black voters and 2/3 of Latinos voted for the Democrat, but more than half of white voters backed the Republican. Mr. Trump, a populist billionaire, provoked controversy on the campaign trail for comments about women, Muslims and a plan to build a wall along the U.S.-Mexican border. He fired up white, working-class American voters who were angry at the Washington establishment and felt left behind by globalization. On the eve of the vote, Mrs. Clinton was ahead by 4 points in a BBC aggregate of opinion polls, but it was well within the margin of error. She saw her campaign dogged by FBI investigations into whether she abused state secrets by operating a private email server during her time as U.S. Secretary of State. Last Sunday, the Law Enforcement Bureau cleared her once again of any criminality. Mr. Trump and Mrs. Clinton were vying to succeed Democratic President Barack Obama. After 2 four-year terms in the White House, he was barred by the U.S. Constitution from running for re-election.